So over the years, a lot of people have asked me how I make my acrylic lenses and my artwork, and it's almost so easy I almost feel guilty. And I've always wanted to do a little video on how they're actually made so other people can do the same, because it's a fairly easy trick, very, very low cost, but the results are great. Used this in a lot of other projects in the past, but right now in my workshop we're making a lot of these little tripod creatures, and they're just little three-legged guys, very, very cute, but they use these acrylic lenses that I've made so many of. And I'm going to show you guys how those are made today. Essentially, we start off with a scrap piece of plexiglass. And this you can buy at plastic supply shops. They usually have remnant bins, and they'll sell sheets about this size for around 50 cents, $1 a piece, or $1 per pound. And from there, cut them up into small squares. Now there's two ways you can go about heating this up. You can go very, very slowly and very, very carefully with a little propane torch, or off Craigslist I was able to get this electric oven. You can see those elements glowing. I got this electric oven for free, and this is a old Westinghouse, and I actually repaired it for the first time a couple days ago. And I found the date on the underside, and she was built August of 1959, so this electric oven is 50 years old, and kind of makes you wonder how many apple pies and turkeys and everything, but she's happily doing acrylic glass now. So we've got the little square of acrylic glass, and we have just a little binder clip and a little piece of wire made a hook, and just set it right there, and it'll take about 3 or 4 minutes to heat up to full temperature. And when I'm going with this, I'll usually put a new one in and then take the other one out. So we're going to let that heat up, and I'm going to explain the rest of the process. When the piece comes out, it's going to be very rubbery, very pliable, but it's still going to be clear. I can leave it in there longer and let it get bubbles in, but it gets harder to control how many bubbles get in. And because I need to diffuse light, I want those bubbles in there. So to get better control of putting the bubbles in, I'm actually going to use this propane torch. So a heated piece that's all soft and rubbery will come here. I'll use the torch to add more bubbles into the sheet. While it's hot, it'll come over here, and if it was just a one-off and I was only making one of these, I would cut a hole through some piece of plate, plywood, whatever it needs to be, and then it would just be just some type of ball. Baseballs, golf balls, bowling balls, I've used them all over the years, and just push into that glass and be able to get this shape out of it. Now there's going to be over 200 pieces just like this one made, so I went a step further and built a hinge and another piece here and turned this little aluminum ball, so I kind of have a little press that squishes the plastic in there. Now this ball is pretty smooth, but I want to add some texture in there, and so for that texture actually use an aluminum foil, and this actually works great to just crinkle that on there. And when it comes down, it's going to press in with all those little textures and be kind of like a mini topo map coming in. After it's closed and in there, it's important to cool it quickly, otherwise the jig gets hot and the plastic starts to stick. So right into a bucket of water, you can open it up at this point and pull your plexiglass out. So that's the process in a pretty quick nutshell. After that, these get cut on the lathe, and I'll take some video of that and show that process in a bit. So let's see how this other sheet is doing. And it's not quite ready yet. Alright, so our plastic's ready. Let's take this out here. And you can see it's pretty rubbery. And it's very hot, but it's not a very good conductor of heat. So you can manipulate it around for a little bit. If you hold it for too long, the heat will get to you. But it's still pretty rubbery. Now we're going to heat it up and get those bubbles in there. So it's just a quick way of putting the bubbles in. So now we got on the press, and go ahead and throw some foil on there and squish. So there's the glass in there. And open that up and pull that guy out. And you usually get a few uses out of the foil. But there's our lens. So that's one. Another 199 to go. So to hold this piece of this dome piece of acrylic in there, I have this piece of tube, and this is the same tube that the bodies are made out of for the tripods, and that's just chucked up in a 3-jaw chuck. It's being held in by this piece of tubing with some tape and a little terry cloth pad on there, so it just pushes in, and then that's all to the live center on the tailstock. And from that we can hold it in and be able to cut it out. And now with that little lip right across that edge that's turned on there, this guy will fit right on and get glued right in place into one of the bodies of the tripods.